This summer I worked with a group of citizens from Cobble Hill who formed a society called the Cobble Hill Event Society. As you can imagine, their mandate was pretty simple: to hold events in Cobble Hill. One of those events was Music Night in the Park, and the other one was the Farmers Market that happened over here at the Farmers Institute. The Music Night in the Park was a huge success. The society served over 2,500 people who came and attended the free music in the park. And while people were there at the park, they also helped fill out surveys, and we also got a chance to talk to a lot of different citizens. We had a range of people, from families to seniors to people who have never even been in Cobble Hill. And so we got a pretty wide variety of information about what people view Cobble Hill as and what it could be. And so that was a really good insight into people's minds about what they'd like to see in Cobble Hill. And now I'd kind of like to take that next step. You may have read an article in some papers recently that I wrote talking about how budget cycle's coming up, and we're also going to be holding a design charrette. And a design charrette is beyond an OCP. It goes, I guess, more into the feelings and hopes of what people would like to see in the village. It's one thing to designate zonings within Cobble Hill in an official community plan, but this looks more like what kind of businesses do we want to see and attract? What kind of sounds and smells will we have in Cobble Hill? I'm sitting at the Memorial Park here in Cobble Hill, and I guess this is a good example. If you ever come down here and have a look, we have these nice paved stones and we have nice grass, and it's a really good start to something. But all you need to do is step behind me, look in this direction towards the memorial, and it's gorgeous, but then you look in the other direction and it's nothing but gravel. And again, it goes to, what do we want to see in Cobble Hill? Do we want to see these paved stones as a sidewalk? Do we want to see street lighting? What kind of color palette do we want to see here in the village? And go beyond what is just within the OCP, the official community plan. And so the design charrette will be part of that. And then the other part will be having some community conversations. As I had a chance to talk with many people over the course of the summer, people have a lot of different ideas about what they'd like to see in Cobble Hill. And some of those revolve around the booming number of families coming into Cobble Hill. There's also the potential for art in Cobble Hill. Once you start looking around at some of the gray or white spaces that we have in Cobble Hill, you start to see the possibilities that we can have for art in Cobble Hill. And further to the Cobble Hill Event Society, what else do we want to see for events? Do we want to continue the Music Night in the Park? Do we want to continue to see the Farmers Market? And how are those things interrelated? And really the big question is, how are we going to do that as a community? We don't always have to just tax more and then make it happen. Money does help, but for example, again, this Memorial Park was done by volunteers with volunteer time, and I think that we can build a beautiful, vibrant core using people who want to make a difference in the community. So how do we incorporate all those things? And this is part of the discussions. And in those discussions, it'll be loosely based on those topics, but what else do we want to talk about? What else do we want to see? So those are some of the things coming up, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited because when I talked with people at the music nights, it was different than when you have, let's say, it's different than when you have a town hall meeting over a contentious issue. When you have those kind of town hall meetings, people show up and they're upset. And so you're never gonna really get a full, wholesome discussion about what can possibly happen. Instead, it's around that one issue that's really focused and people are angry. Whereas the music night in the park, people are in a good mood. They, were around family and friends, and discussions were happening. People who would have never met were meeting each other. And so people had ideas. We look at the Cobble Hill Commons, which is behind us right now. While we had the music night in the park, is the next step to have that area grassed so that we can actually enjoy ourselves in the summer on nice cool grass, so that we can run around without our kids falling down and scraping their knees on gravel. Does it look like having a band shell there? Does it look like having other kinds of amenities in this one-of-a-kind central park? So there's lots of interesting discussions we'll have. I will post dates about these meetings soon. I will also be having flyers mailed out so that we can try and have as much broad community discussion as possible. and see what kind of Cobble Hill Village we want to see, and open up our minds to different kinds of ideas. And I'll post some at the end of this video about ideas that we could have in terms of some of that art, some of those events, and what we could see Cobble Hill to be. If you have any questions or ideas, please feel free to email me at mclement@cvrd.bc.ca or give me a call at 250-715-6874. Again, that's 715-6874. And we can have a discussion about some of the ideas that we'd like to see in Cobble Hill. Cheers.